We've seen some great performers in the comedy category of this series of Star Search. Last week, Adam Hills returned to our stage for his second performance and came up against the remarkable comic talents of Shelley Silverman. Sadly for Adam, Shelley emerged from the tussle as our clear winner, so she's back with us tonight. It's a very original comedy there from Shelley, but I think you'll agree that our next act is equally original. Will you please welcome Gary Latham?
Hi. I don't know if you recognise me or not, but I do a fair bit of television. Well, that is, I do bit parts. They only use bits of me. You may recognise this bit from the Aerogard commercial. Or this bit from Ashley and Martin. But then there's my most famous bit. I had a really weird childhood. I never had very many friends at school. My parents were kind of worried about it because they thought I might have a complex. So they sent me to a psychiatrist, right? But the psychiatrist said I was too simple to have a complex. Because I only ever really had one friend at school, this bird, and it escaped. And I just left the note in the bottom of his cage saying, "Gone to New Zealand. I want to try bungee jumping." My mum's pretty weird. She knitted me this jumper the other day. It's got one leg longer than the other one. My brother's kind of weird too. Well, actually, he's suicidal. I'll never forget the day we found him in the kitchen. He had 2 pairs of jeans on, 3 pairs of tracksuit pants, 4 flannelette shirts, a pair of Ugg boots, a lumberjacket and a beanie. He also had the oven turned on full blast and 4 heaters. The dumb jerk was trying to spontaneously combust. I was always really mean to my sister. When she was little, she used to lose a tooth and she put in a glass for the tooth fairy. Well, while she was asleep, I used to arrow dart it back in. Do you know fact is stranger than fiction? That's a fact. Isn't that strange? I want to leave you with an interesting fact. Did you know if you got everybody in Japan right, you laid them end to end around the world, 2/3 of them would drown? Thank you.
Well, Shelley and Gary, a tough choice there, but we have our 3 wise judges to help us make the decision. What did you think of the comics tonight, Penny Cook?
Well, I don't know about being wise. I think comedy is an incredibly hard thing, and different comedy and stand-up stuff is particularly hard. And therefore, in my opinion, Shelley is not my cup of tea as much as Gary is. And I would go with Gary, who I thought was terrific. I thought they were both terrific, but Gary's more my cup of tea.
OK, thanks, Penny. Simon?
Well, to me, comedy is like, the essence of comedy is a true character and original character. And Gary had a sort of innocence that, that to me, I'd never seen anything like that before. I'd sort of seen the stuff that Shelley done before. She did it very well, but I'd definitely go with Gary.
OK, and our 3rd wise judge tonight, Glenn O'Baker.
Shelley doesn't have a lot of subtlety, but she does have a fairly crisp pace, and I thought the lines were better this week than last. But Gary, that's sort of like more minimalism humour, a la Mouse from the first series. A really creative approach. He managed to incorporate nervousness into a comedy persona. The man is absolutely bent, and I love him. Right. He gets my vote.
Thanks, guys. But what about you? Did either of our comics inspire you to smile a little tonight? If you thought Shelley Silverman was the funniest act, give us a call on 0055 21003. But perhaps you preferred the off-the-wall humour of Gary Latham. A vote for him by dialing 0055 21004. There's much more great talent when we return in just a moment here on Star Search. Well, who do you reckon was the best performer on tonight's show? The judges have thought about this long and hard because they want to make sure that the $1,000 select account at National Mutual Royal Bank goes to the right person. So, over to the judges. Glen A. Baker.
Mike, we were amused and amazed by the comic ingenuity of Gary Latham.
Gary. Well done. 1,000 big bucks. Now, you're a Sydney comic and you perform around Sydney. Where can people see you, Sydney-siders, if they want to catch you live?
They can see me at the Comedy Store in Cleveland Street and the Gonzo Review, which has just opened up at the Excelsior Hotel in Surrey Hills.
Big plug.
Tuesday nights. Comedy Store's Wednesday to Saturday.
Thanks. give us back $500 for the plug. Thanks, Gary. Congratulations. And also, we'd like to congratulate all the acts appearing on tonight's show for some wonderful work. And thanks also to our judges tonight, Glen A. Baker, Penny Cook, and Simon Burke.